All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's session introducing the Jotform Enterprise Mobile App. I'm Morgan Zients, Product Education Manager here at Jotform, and I'm very excited to have you all here today to learn about our latest update to the Jotform Enterprise offering. The Jotform Enterprise Mobile App brings the power of Jotform to your mobile device, giving enterprise administrators the ability to manage and monitor users, teams, settings, and data from anywhere and everywhere. Joining me in today's session are my colleagues Lainey, who will be keeping an eye on Q&A throughout, and Kat, who will be giving us a demo in a couple of minutes. But before we get started, I do want to mention that we are recording today. That recording will be up on our YouTube channel, maybe by the end of today, definitely by the end of this week. So you can check that out at youtube.com/thejotform. Feel free to share that, whatever you want to do with it, rewatch it. You can also see all of Jotform's other webinars and other videos there as well. Also, again, if you have any questions as we go, don't hesitate to drop them into the Q&A in your panel there. Lainey will be keeping an eye on them, as I mentioned, and we'll have some time at the end of the session to go through them. All right. So let's talk a little bit about why the Jotform Enterprise Mobile App might be for you. Consider the Jotform Enterprise Mobile App if you are an enterprise user who would like to do any of the things that you see here, like easily managing and assigning forms or signed documents, receiving notifications wherever you are, being able to access your admin console from anywhere, and having users be able to collect data in the field, even if they're offline. Basically, the app might be for you if you want to stay more current on time-sensitive information you really need, and you want to better collaborate with your team. You may already be familiar with our standard Jotform app, which brings Jotform to you on the go. The idea here is the same, but it is specific to our Jotform Enterprise instances. We've developed this app to fully marry app flexibility with our Jotform Enterprise features. Once you download the app from the App Store or Google Play, you'll find a simple login screen and an interface that very closely resembles Jotform's browser navigation. So it's super easy to use and should be familiar to you already. In just a couple minutes here, I'm going to pass things over to Kat for our demo, but I did want to highlight a couple of the features that you'll find in the app before I do that, so you can keep an eye out for them as she's going through her demo. So first, one of the major benefits of any app is the convenience of being able to do what you need or want to do from anywhere. In line with that, the first key feature I want to highlight here is push notifications. Receiving real-time updates means that you can not only manage your own stuff in Jotform, your own Jotform activity in the app, but you can also stay up to date on potentially time-sensitive updates from your colleagues. At the end of the session today, we'll link to a couple of case studies. We'll also share those in the YouTube description as well. And these are case studies where you can see more about how people are using the app and also enterprise features. The Park County, Montana example is a great example of time-sensitive updates. They managed COVID contact tracing and testing sites using Jotform. So again, somewhere where really having time-sensitive information could be essential. You can fully customize your notifications to include whatever form fields you need to see. So you can use these notifications to highlight key information from your forms. Another way to get updates from the field is with Kiosk Mode. Kiosk Mode is a feature of Jotform Jotform apps that allows you to use Jotform offline without losing any data. So I know that this is a question that we saw a couple of times in registration. Can I use Jotform offline? So yes, absolutely. Kiosk Mode is the answer to that. With Kiosk Mode, data will sync to your account when you return somewhere that does have an internet connection. This feature can be especially useful when working with colleagues in the field like drivers, surveyors, or inspectors. Kiosk Mode also comes in really handy at conferences and trade shows and other events where maybe there is technically Wi-Fi available, but it's pretty taxed with all of the people using it. It can be a bit slow. Also, since Kiosk Mode automatically resets your welcome screen after each submission, it's perfect for capturing in-person registrations, booth surveys, and any other conference needs you might have. You can also enable a QR code so people can respond to forms on their own devices, so touchless response, and they can do that without having to download the app themselves. Most of the case studies that we're sharing at the end feature the use of Kiosk Mode, but check out the Arbor Day example specifically for an example of using QR codes. In their case, they're using QR codes for on-site volunteer registration. Lastly, as a Jotform Enterprise user, you are probably familiar with your admin console. For those of you on the line who are not enterprise users, the admin console allows you to invite and manage users throughout your teams and data, etc. With the app, you have full admin console access on the go, plus the ability to track mobile app users and usage. So this will include valuable data about who's using the form and what version they're using, what their device is, when they've most recently accessed it, etc. And you can use all of that to optimize productivity and security for your team. All right, so the highlight of today's session is obviously going to be seeing this demo and seeing the app in action. So on that note, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to pass things over to Kat for our demo.
Fabulous. Thank you, Morgan. Hi, everybody. I'm Kat. I'm a customer success manager with Jotform Enterprise team. I'm really excited to be here to walk through the Jotform Enterprise mobile app with you. So I'm also going to share my screen here. I'm already logging into our demo server. This is a pre-recorded instance, so things like my password have been edited out. But just like when we log into our server on desktop or onto the standard Jotform app, the landing page is going to be the My Forms dashboard, as we can see here. Please note that I am logged in as a server admin on this demo server. So you can see that we have many of the actions that we have on the My Forms page as we do within desktop or within the standard app as well. And then we can also press the drop down, easily access our other assets from the drop down menu and click on the forms and take one of the many actions as listed on the screen now. You'll notice here that one of these actions include Kiosk Mode, which is a unique feature to Jotform Mobile, as Morgan had mentioned. It's available on both iOS and Android devices. And of course, with Kiosk Mode, you can turn your mobile device into a survey station. Like with Kiosk Lock, you can utilize that to securely collect submission data, allow respondents to only access that one form without having access to anything else within the app. And then once the form is submitted, again, as Morgan had mentioned, it will return to the start page so you can collect multiple separate responses really securely and really easily. We can also see the other options for Kiosk Mode displayed on the screen now. You can easily toggle these on and off each time that you enable Kiosk Mode for each form, but we'll get to see Kiosk Mode in action towards the end of our demo today. So I'm going to head back into the form builder, and then I'm going to head into our app settings here. You'll see that we do have a couple of options here, some that may look familiar, but others are unique to the Enterprise mobile app. But before we get into those, I did want to just check out offline forms here. That's the third option from the top of the screen. For the offline forms feature, you can set which of your forms you'd like to make available offline, collect submission data while offline, and just really feel secure knowing the data will then be synced once you're back online. So coupled with Kiosk Mode, offline forms make collecting submission data when in the field especially really streamlined and really simple here. So you can see I'm also toggling off the download with cellular data there. You can have that option as well if you don't want them to have to rely on Wi-Fi. All right, so then I'm going to go into the settings, and then we are going to click into the admin console as well. So as Morgan mentioned, if you were already a server admin on a Jotform Enterprise server, you're likely familiar with it. But if you haven't used the admin console before, you can see here, this is our landing page dashboard. You can get a quick overview and audit of different activities on your server, which again is the admin console landing page, but you could really get a good look into behind the scenes of what's happening. If we click on the menu button, we're going to see a couple of different tabs here, including users, where server admins can manage, edit, and update them. We can also view forms and related submission data. We can audit all server activities on a per user or server-wide basis. As we can see here, this is where we go to get our users, forms, activity. We can contact support, manage server teams. And then finally, what we'll see in the very last here, after we click on support, we're going to go back, click on settings, and this is where we can white label and customize your server on the go here. So you can see that this, because of course this is our demo server, we have the Jotform brand, but you can also white label your enterprise server to make it look exactly the way that you like it and remove all instances of the Jotform identity on there. All right, so I'm going to click into the mobile tab. This is where you can easily share the app and invite licensed users on your server to download the app on their own mobile device as well. So just a couple taps, you can choose either to share the link as we're seeing now, or you can send them an email to download the Enterprise app there. With the download app button on your device here, that's right beside the invite users, others can scan the QR code to be taken to download the app in the App or Google Play Store, depending on their advice. And then in this tab, we can also see which of our licensed users on our server have accessed and downloaded the app. So that helps us to ensure that each user required to download and access the app has been able to do so as well. We're going back to the other tabs here. You have full access to the admin console here. So let's just say that you want to take a look at what's happening within the teams on your server, for example. As a server admin, you have full visibility into all teams that are created on our server through the admin console. And now through the Jotform Enterprise Mobile App, we can manage users, teams, support requests, server settings, and more on the go. All right, so as Morgan mentioned, not only do you have access to your enterprise server at your fingertips, you can also control the notifications that come through to your phone from your app settings. So we're on our notifications here. You can decide which forms notify you of new submissions to ensure that you can review that time-sensitive data in real time. This is also true within the app. You'll see here when I go back here, that I have a pending approval task awaiting me, and that number 1 on the screen there. It's a really good way to not only keep on top of the data that's coming in, but also ensure that you're staying up to date with any pending tasks as it comes to your daily workflow, wherever you are. All right, so let's see this app in action. All right, we're going back to the notifications, making sure I got that on because we are going to send through a submission on one of these forms here. So I have this sign up form that I'm going to click into shortly. Back on our forms builder, and I'm going to enable kiosk mode. I'm going to enable the kiosk lock. And the password that I'm going to set, again, because this is pre-recorded, we've edited out any passwords. When I turn on that kiosk lock, I'm going to choose a 4-digit PIN of just 1234. All right, we've set the password, and now we're going to launch kiosk mode here. All right, so if we ever want to exit kiosk mode, we can just swipe that down and enter in our 1234 password. So I'm just going to be John Smith for the purposes of filling out this form here. So I'm just going to put in a couple of different dummy data into this just for the purposes of this example here. I can go in, type in my name. I'm John Smith, in this example anyway. And then I'm going to just be, let's say, john@example.com. If I can spell example right, we're going to have the correct email within there. You can type in the address, but because I haven't made any of these required fields, I'm just going to put in a few more information, including a dummy phone number. And then once I've got that all in there, we're going to scroll down and hit submit. So as you can see, it goes back to the thank you page, and then they can click refresh form, or it will automatically go back to the page there. So from here, if I want to, I'm going to exit out of kiosk mode here shortly. And then, of course, it will ask me for the passcode. So we're going to enter a PIN, 1234. And then I can check out any approving pending approval tasks. You can see that I have the notification there. Remember, you can change these at any time within the app and on your device. And then I can go and I can view that submission on the app within inbox mode like so. And that's also how it will appear on other devices that have access to this particular form. All right, so just to recap from here, I can check in any any pending approval tasks for this form. And then here I'm going in, I can even create a new Jotform signed document to send to the respondent, all from the Jotform Enterprise Mobile App there. So I'll stop my share here. Thanks so much for joining me today, everybody, as we briefly walk through how to access, share, and utilize Jotform Enterprise on the go. I'm going to pass it back to Morgan and Lainey for any questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Kat. That was great. Thanks for the thorough overview there. I do have the resources that we wanted to share pulled up here. So we have an announcement post about the Jotform Enterprise Mobile App that you can view to see more about everything you need to know about the app, or if you're somebody who learns better by reading things, you can check that out. And then also we have the case studies that I mentioned are all linked here as well. Again, these will also be in the YouTube description. So yeah, definitely recommend checking those out. And on that note, Lainey, do we have any questions that we want to discuss?
Yeah, we do have a couple of questions that have come in through the chat. So the first one is there a limit to how many devices an organization can use to install the app?
No, there's no limit there. You can install it on as many devices as you'd like. Just keep in mind that logging into the app will be reserved for your licensed server users.
Great, excellent. And then somebody else was asking, they said they were interested in capturing their customers' emails and cell phone numbers when they're presenting at events and shows. Can I use the app for this?
Yeah, absolutely. As we just saw, you can use it. I would suggest using it in kiosk mode. Really easy to capture that information. And then if you'd like to, you can also have the QR code that Morgan had mentioned earlier. So it's really easy for them to scan, and then they can fill it out on their own mobile device if they'd like. So there are a couple of different ways to do that.
Great, thank you, Kat. And then another little version on that one. Someone again just asking if they can fill out forms offline.
Yes, yeah, you can go in and you can select which forms that you'd like to fill offline. There are some fields that do require on a Wi-Fi or data connection, including GPS coordinates, but most of our form fields can be accessed and filled out offline. So that's no problem there. It's just if you're using a widget that does require that access to Wi-Fi or internet, you might not be able to put that particular form offline. But as we saw in my demo there, I had just basic forms that are really similar to any kind of event sign up, and they were all available offline.
Wonderful. And then one last, a little more specific question. Someone was asking if clients, if you can send messages to your clients or to the administrator, like someone from the admin with an admin role via the app.
Yeah. So with that, you can have it so that there are comments that are within the approval flows, but right now we have it so that if you're going to respond, you can respond to the email that you get from the actual submission, the autoresponder email. As an enterprise user, you do have the ability to put your own SMTP email server as the sender email in those emails. So any responses will come back to you, but you are also able to, with the right sharing permissions, message about the status of an approval workflow there. We can always send also a feature request to engineering for a more broader messaging and commenting experience as well.
All right, wonderful. Okay, I think that covers all the questions we had. Thank you so much for providing that detail.
I did want to, there was a question on our live stream on our YouTube about pricing. Can one of you talk a little bit more about enterprise package pricing?
Yeah, so if you are interested there, we do have a really great group of our business development managers and our sales team that can help you out with that. We do also have some nonprofit pricing that's a little bit different there. It is on an annual basis, and it depends on the number of users. So our basic packages come with a minimum of 5 licensed users per the server, and then there are some different user packages that you can use to increase on your server itself, whether they're licensed users or otherwise. So I would highly suggest reaching out because that can the price can differ based on a multitude of things. Please feel free to reach out to our sales team on our enterprise landing page, and they will get back to you as soon as possible.
And that, oh. I was
Sorry,
going to say that.
one more question coming in. One more question coming in. Sorry about that, Morgan. Want to make sure we get all these questions answered. How long is the information saved from the responses?
Infinitely. So as a Jotform Enterprise user, you do have unlimited limits. So there aren't any limits on how much submission data that you can collect, how many payments you can collect, all of that within Jotform Enterprise. On Jotform Standard, there are certain limitations when it comes to submission data that you can receive, uploads. We don't have that on Enterprise because you do have that dedicated server environment. So it's saved in your server for as long as you'd like it, and until you delete it, archive it, download it. It's saved there until you are the one to initiate any kind of deletion.
Great.
Great, thank you.
I was just going to reiterate that in order to get in touch with our sales team for enterprise licensing questions, it's that landing page that Kat mentioned is jotform.com/enterprise, right? I got that right? Okay. Yeah. So pretty straightforward. All right. Well, I think we will end it there. I believe we got to all of the questions, but if you have a question that we did not respond to, feel free to reach out to us. Again, that that page that I just shared, jotform.com/enterprise, is a great place for questions about enterprise licensing as well. And we do have webinars pretty regularly. If you're an enterprise user, check out our Lunch and Learn series. You can learn more about that on our blog. And you can also see more about any other upcoming webinars that we have there. So yeah, so thank you for joining us today, and hopefully we'll